Hi, this is Joseph Cobbs again, and we're doing a critique of my video this week. We're on Module 8, Activity 1, and of course the unit is 7, and this is the unit where we're talking about different types of formal evaluations. What I mean by that is summative evaluations and formative evaluations. So the video that I did this week was I was reviewing for a summative test, and we had a big test this week where the kids had a lot of information. A lot of them were very stressed out about it. They had to recognize and talk about all the bones in the body, the muscles in the body, not all of them, just the major muscle groups. And then they had muscle contraction and all the chemistry involved in that and the steps, which is pretty complicated. And we also had the integumentary system and skin and some homeostasis. So in this video, I wasn't able to show everything that I think that you wanted me to show in it. My priority was to prepare the kids for the test. And so I went through the test real fast, everything on there. And then we went back and reviewed some prior knowledge, and I checked their knowledge on things we learned a month ago. We went through some of those things. And Mr. Rick watched the video with me just now, and he's got some comments on it. And he has some good points of things where I could improve. Mr. Rick.
Okay. Yeah. It's putting the pieces together. That's the challenging part when you're showing them, human tissues and then lots of visuals. Microscope work, drawings. We've done all this stuff. We've shown them on the. They have it on Google. They have all sorts of animations and videos
The PowerPoint,
we've used, and you've used the skeleton. You've used charts to show the muscles. So lots of visuals. But here we are, review time, and students are like, what do I need to know? What do I need to know? And they get nervous. And so in a review, there's always that temptation to connect things to previous learning, which is great and all, but their focus on that in this day is they're more twitched out about
Actual test.
What are they gonna know, rather than time to
Learn and
associate,
relearn.
which is all good stuff, but in the given their mindset, I would just try to avoid bringing in details that complicate getting the structure and function of those four different things: the tissues, the muscle, the bone, the skin. Let's look at the pictures. Let's look at the structures, and what do they do? And zing, go with that. Lots of. They're getting it, but at the same time, these are like pieces that we're trying to connect, and that's kind of our challenge, is to try and, for example, in the muscle contraction, we had a motor nerve, and sending a neurotransmitter across a space synapse to the muscle, which then causes the calcium channels inside the muscle to open, and then causing the filaments to slide. And they were having trouble with that.
Yeah, and a commendation that I made, because some of my top students were because we had like 5 different videos, and each one had a little piece of it.
Yeah.
And they all explained it differently, and they all had different chemicals that they talked about. But it wasn't all together, so Mr. Rick was nice enough to go over it with me in kind of a general overview. And I actually typed it out in bullet point and then presented it to the class and gave it to them because they were so freaked out about that. So it was kind of an accommodation that I made for their summative evaluation, because it was a difficult concept, and it was a little confusing from the 4 or 5 different animations, because all the presenters presented it a little differently.
Yeah, so you laid it out in a bulleted form, posted it on Google. So,
with Mr. Rick's help, of course.
Yeah, but I mean, getting rid of that extra details. Sometimes you just can't find the perfect, simple thing that you want to say. So you just have to tell them, ignore that detail, ignore this detail. Just
Mhm.
this is what's happening. Go back over that and get the essentials. You have to ask yourself, what is essential at this right now to this where we are. And as we continue to build, we'll have one more thing to associate and remind and bring back and connect. But today it was just structure and function, sticking to that one thing, and that's we all want to go off and connect, but it's hard not to. You want to. What do they really need to know for this? What are the things that they're being evaluated on, and what are the standards? What are they expected to know? And trying to. I mean, you have such a background in anatomy and physiology, the human body. This is your forte, and so your challenge is you want to tell them everything, and
And it just overwhelms them.
you just can't do it. You just can't do it. So every once in a while you recognize, I probably, I said too much, but that's all. I've done that 1,000 times myself. We all have,
Well, I had a question for you too, because I'm reviewing for the test, so there's a lot of material, and the kids are all stressed out. And I'm trying to do formative, like I'm asking a student, can you explain this? Or an another student, can you explain this? But I can't get all 18 or 19 students to explain everything. There's not enough time, there's too much material. How do you go and do little formative, how can I do quicker, shorter formative assessments to try to tie it all in together? I don't know, I'm still struggling with that.
Yeah. Well, one thing, you can put them in groups and say, okay, you handle this part of it, and just sort of break it into pieces. And then each group will then present their piece, and then to hopefully connect, overlap a little bit, and that'd probably be my best suggestion.
Yeah. I think it's just that day because we were reviewing for the test, so I was trying to get everything done. Boom, boom, boom. There's just so much to do. It's a difficult chapter right now because there's a lot of new words and a lot of new concepts.
Which you made a word bank.
Yeah.
That they love that, so they don't have to memorize all the words. Being a second language, so the test had a word bank, and we had lots of visuals on the test that reflected
the processes.
How we taught this,
Mm-hmm.
and so the visual learners, they could see or be reminded of what they've learned that way, and so I think the visual learners should have, which they'll always say, I couldn't tell what it was, because the picture wasn't that great.
Well, I know that you, on your test and also on my test, because they were different tests, we had to make some comments before the test and write things on the board to say, this picture of this is what this is, so they'd answer the right question.
Yeah.
So we had to make some last-minute accommodations, actually, while we're giving the test, just to make sure the kids understood the pictures, because we didn't always use pictures from the books. We used also some pictures from the internet that might have had a better picture. And
they want to see the picture that
from the book that they've seen before of the same thing.
Wait a minute, it's bent just the other way.
Yeah, so
they get disoriented.
I had to make some last-minute accommodations for that. Actually, during the test day, drawing on the board this picture and showing the picture of this test question. This is what this is a picture of, even though they had the picture in the book, but it was, like I said, it was a little different picture, just so that they'd be more comfortable with what they're doing. So.
One of them said, that they're used to seeing the dyes, the colors that they,
on the
stain,
slide. Yeah,
the
stay on the
slides
slide.
with, well, it's not pink. Is that pink? Is that supposed to be pink? And I said,
no, it's a black and white test. It's not pink.
It doesn't matter. It's not pink in the body. It's just what you saw in the slide, but, black and white version of it. So they had to make some adjustments, and we'll see how it all turns out. But, I think, I know at least some of them learned a lot. I know that. So they're learning a lot, and they're picking up a lot. We just have to be tighter about what we don't expect of them as much as what we do expect of them.
Yeah, that's right. I have a lot of growing to do.
And, again, the visuals, sometimes, you have to, we spend time saying, well, forget about that detail, forget about that detail. But some of them don't write that down. And then when they go and review this stuff, they're
Yeah.
like, ah.
Well, like the one
You know,
kid that I asked, Pee-Pee, he's a big guy and a smart guy and works hard, real hard worker. But he wanted to put every detail in there. He made it more complicated. I even said, you don't need to be that thorough on the test. You're putting more detail than you need to.
So, I mean, he's
It's
talking
too
about
much.
calcium entering the motor neuron above the synapse, and then we're talking calcium being released in the muscle cell, and some people are going to go, calcium. Well, what? There's two things.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessary to keep that out of it. So we have to be careful about what we expect of them detail-wise, because
Okay.
there is a,
Well, this is a slow process for me. I'm slowly learning this stuff. Every week I learn a little bit more, but I'm still working at keep it simple, stupid, and try not to elaborate too much. Mr. Rick's a great mentor, and he's got a lot more experience. And I get to watch his class only about once a week because of our classes overlapping. But it's really I love it when I get to watch his biology class because it really helps me in my class. So I wish I had more time to do that. So, anyways, but
just try to keep it
that's about it for this week. I tried to watch the VC. Unfortunately, I watched it, but it's so broken up I can't understand what people are saying. I'm sorry the internet's connection's so bad over here, but that's just where it's at. But I'm trying to read everything and go through the process. And Mr. Rick will be doing a second fun evaluation on me this week, and he'll be sending that this weekend. Okay, have a good day.
Okay.
Bye.
Yeah.